effective communication. Now, if you don't know, there is a huge difference between communicating and effectively communicating. All right, guys, so I took a poll or asked a question on social media and I wanted to share the results with you. I'm going to link it in the slide and then we're going to jump into this video. The question was, if two people disagree during a conversation, does that mean that they were not effectively communicating? Hey beauties, welcome back to Just Call Me Tasha. We talk about mental health, self-care, and journaling. Today, as you can tell from the title below, we are going to be diving into effective communication. Now, if you don't know, there is a huge difference between communicating and effectively communicating. And we are going to talk about that today. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, I urge you to go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. If you have, you already know I jump right into it. So we are going to start off with defining effective communication. All right, so effective communication is the ability to convey information to a person or a group of people using the skills to facilitate the sharing of information. So I emphasize that word sharing because I think that's where the lines get blurred, right? Sharing means I'm going to give you a chance and then I'm going to have a chance. And I think sometimes we kind of sort of leave that sharing part out of it. Why do we do this? I think there's a number of reasons why we have such a hard time with that sharing piece of it. A lot of times it's because we really just want to get our point across and we want to be heard and we want to be understood. However, it's very hard for the other party to hear us when we are not listening to them. So that word sharing is like a key word that we really have to focus on. And we really have to practice because it doesn't come easy. But if you notice that you are the type of person that is always like thinking of what you want to say while the other person is speaking, then that tells you you're not doing that sharing piece, right? You're just thinking about what you want to say, but you're not necessarily listening to the individual that's speaking to you. Some things that I do to help me with that, because that sharing piece was really hard for me. I do not have intense conversations, one, until I'm ready, and two, after I have written everything down. So I've already explained to you guys that I am a writer at heart. I love to write things down. I have 1,000,001 notebooks. My notepad is full. If I ever lose my phone, God help me. But it's important for me to get everything that I want to say out of my head and onto paper. And then I can kind of finagle it. So I can say, oh, okay, well, this point goes here, this point goes here. So it's not just like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I love to be organized and detailed. So that's something that you might want to think about. Another reason why that sharing piece may be hard is because a lot of people, not me, a lot of people do not like to admit when they're wrong, or they don't want to be called out for it. But guys, none of us are perfect, and it is okay for us to be wrong or for us to learn from somebody else. I think that's a beautiful thing, and it shows that you have growth, and that you want to be a better person, a better communicator, a better spouse, a better mother, whatever it is. That sharing piece is what's really going to help you reach that goal. So what is the importance of effective communication? Other than self-development, I think it really does help for you to have healthier relationships. In relationships, especially nowadays, everybody is communicating via social media. And so it's really hard for me to send you a text message or for me to slide into your DMs and for you to know what my motive is, you know? Sometimes you have to, well, most times You really need to know that person and have a conversation with this person, whether be it on the phone, which I don't recommend, or face to face. Now, with COVID around, if you don't really know the person, I suggest not doing face to face. However, it is important to have those face to face conversations. And it helps to build a relationship that's going to be long lasting. Relationships nowadays are just they're so short and quick, whether it be it friendships or marriages or relationships, whatever the case may be. They don't last as long anymore. And that is because we are lacking how to effectively communicate with one another. We're using other tools and other people to help us, and that it don't work. It ain't gonna work, y'all. We have to learn that sharing piece of effective communication. I'm going to share with you how I am feeling, and you are going to share with me your thoughts, and we are going to together come up with a resolution. So this all became very apparent to me when I was in school for early childhood education. And I remember interning, and the students would speak to the teacher, and like, to me, it was very rude. So example, the teacher would call on a student and be like, "What?" I said, "What now?" But then I had to ask her, like, after school, how are you okay with that? Why is that okay? Why are we not teaching them how to speak to an adult? And so it became very apparent to me that sometimes, well, most times, people aren't raised the same way, right? We go through different upbringings, we go through different experiences in life. And so there are a lot of things that come into play when you get into like a relationship or a friendship with someone and they aren't doing what we expect them to be doing, right? Keyword, expect them to be doing. So if you have not sat down with an individual and effectively communicated your expectations, then it's really hard for you to be expecting something from somebody that you haven't yet told them you're expecting. I hope that makes sense, because I'm using the word in the sentence and I'm not quite sure. Let me know. But yes, my point is that we have to communicate what those expectations are before we completely blow up or we dismiss this person because we're expecting them to give something or say something that we haven't yet made clear. Coming to think of it, these are like conversations that we have in our Turn and Talk Tuesday. If you missed it, go ahead and check it out. I'm gonna put the link down in the description box. Shameless plug. However, they are conversations that are beneficial to your self-development, which brings me to my next point. Once I realized that this was a thing, it really pushed me to want to stop and take a look at, why does this trigger me? Where is this stemming from? And is this something that I can resolve on my own? There are many things that we experience in life that we can't resolve on our own, and that is okay. That's why they have professionals, okay? There are professional people out there that can give us all of the help and advice that we need. If you are in that position, I urge you to please seek professional help. It really helped me to want to work on myself. I remember like sitting down and thinking, okay, why does this bother me? Why does it bother me when a child responds and says, "What?" Now, in their household, that is something that is acceptable. In my household, it was not something that was acceptable. And I think sometimes even in relationships, when your partner or your friend speaks to you a certain way, you're automatically like, "Hold up, I don't know who you think you're talking to." But that is because that's something that was acceptable in their household or in their past relationships. And so sitting down and having that conversation is really what effective communication is all about. Once I started to ask myself those questions was when I really started to grow, right? Sorry, thought I saw a lizard. It's where I really started to grow within myself. And I could then pour into the friendships and relationships that I had, because now it was no longer about me just getting my point across, but about me sympathizing and empathizing with somebody else and understanding where it is that they're coming from. And we do not always have to agree, we don't. But the point is that how you're feeling, how someone else is feeling is valued. They want to feel valued. And if I am in this friendship, if I am in this relationship with you, I would want you to feel valued. I would want you to know that I value your feelings, I value what it is that you're saying, and this is how we are going to come to a resolve. Effective communication, y'all, it takes you a long way, okay? And I don't understand why it's such a big ordeal, because when you at work, okay, and your boss talk to you any kind of way, you got to take it. You got to take it, or you're gonna lose your job. So we really have to think about our friendships and relationships like that. Like, do I really want to lose this person as a friend? Chances are you don't. And if you feel like you don't care if you lose that person as a friend, then I am going to suggest that you sit down and think about why that is your attitude towards that person. It's either you genuinely never cared about the person, or something happened that is triggering that reaction. And so that's where that self-development and self-growth comes in. It's all about communicating, and communicating in a way that's going to work for you and your friendship, you and your relationship, you and your kids. Whatever it is, y'all figure it out, okay? That is my challenge to you. If I mentioned anything that resonates with you, or if you have questions about how you can change something, or what skills or tools that you're using, or skills or tools that you need advice about, comment below. I feel like I say that every week, but go ahead and comment below. I would love to hear from you. I just want to give a special thank you to all of my subscribers. You guys have really showed up and showed out, and I really, really appreciate it. You don't even know. So I am going to let y'all go. Until next time, y'all, be blessed.